Hello, everybody, and welcome to Pool Focus, the cinema-based entertainment podcast, where usually three freelancers come together to talk shop, but this time we have a special treat for you. Luckily enough, I know a guy who happens to do video and cinema work for a living, and a couple things coincided with this little bit of this interview. Every year, Utah, Salt Lake, Park City, we celebrate cinema with the Sundance Film Festival, and I have somebody who worked on a film right in front of me that is an official Sundance entry. Videographer, cinematographer, all this other good stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ryan Gass.
Hello.
How you doing, man?
I'm great.
So let's jump right into this. I know your time is limited with you being famous. Right? No, I'm kidding. No, why don't we jump into this really quickly and just talk about the film. What is the name of the film? What is it about?
So the film it's a feature documentary named Quiet Heroes, and it follows a doctor and her nurse practitioner who in the 80s were the only doctors in Salt Lake to treat patients with HIV, and they treated it at a local hospital called Holy Cross Hospital.
Holy Cross, okay.
Which was run by a bunch of nuns. So it's these nuns and then these two doctors who are treating these patients in the 80s.
That's crazy.
And my role on that was editing that.
Right.
Was as an editor.
That's awesome. When it comes through and doing the editing project for a documentary like that, I imagine that you probably have to have a lot of things to use as your palette. So when you're dealing with something like this, like a subject matter that was, taboo to talk about in a sense back in the 80s, where you have these two forces that are working together, conservative and liberal in a sense, for lack of a better term. Like, how are you going through and choosing what you're putting into the film so that it would? Are you falling mostly on feedback from directors and writers and that kind of thing? I mean, how much control did you have when it came to the process?
Oh, I mean, it depends. So I came on after everything had been shot for the most part, right?
Okay.
And so there was 3 directors that worked on it. The first director, she went through and got all the interviews, conducted the interviews, decided who was going to be interviewed.
Who was that?
Her name's Jenny McKenzie.
Awesome.
And so she went through and did all these interviews. And then I sat down with the other 2 directors and we kind of outlined what we thought the story should be structure-wise.
Killer.
And we had Post-it notes and we put it all up on a whiteboard and kind of hit all the talking points, all the things that we wanted to hit and when we thought those should come in, right? Mm-hmm. And then at that point, I was pretty much left on my own for about a month and a half to 2 months to put everything together. And then once I got it all pieced together, one of the directors, she would come in. Her name was Amanda Stoddard, and we would kind of work back and forth on changing things and working things out.
You finding the narrative, that kind of thing. What was the name of the third director?
Jared Ruga, who was also the producer.
Well, congratulations to all of them too. I mean, getting into Sundance is great. It's an excellent way to get your name out there and also just have a message of a particular piece of work just be heard by a lot of people of influence. Is that usually the way that you would tangle a documentary, where you have so many hands in the pot and you're arranging things with that kind of strategy?
I don't really know.
Really?
I mean,
is this the first documentary that you've done?
No, it's not. I think it depends on who you're working with, right?
Yeah.
I know there are directors who will be very hands-on and pretty much control everything. And then as an editor, you're just kind of like piecing everything together. And then there are situations like in this one where I was kind of let work on my own and create the story.
Was that intimidating at all? Like getting all that responsibility?
There was a lot of pressure for sure.
Yeah.
For a number of different reasons. But I mean, the directors trusted me enough to let me kind of do my thing.
For sure.
And then we worked things out after that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. I guess it must be really important for you to have kind of like that cohesive relationship as a creator when it comes to people who are going to be telling you, well, I think you should be doing this, you should be doing that. Were there any disagreements between you and the directing staff? Or
yeah. I mean, yeah.
But you guys are still able to make this piece of art, though. It's great.
Some of the things that I fought for, I still believe I was right on. And some of the things I fought for, I lost out on. And it was right that I should have lost out.
Yeah,
right?
that's awesome.
But when you're in deep in editing it, you don't always see everything. And
yeah,
it's
like
nice
tunnel vision maybe? Or...
Yeah, I mean, you just get too close to it, right?
I feel you.
And you get caught on certain things, and having someone come in who hasn't been watching it for 8 to 10 hours a day every day, you know, and come in and kind of look at it with fresh eyes. It's nice and it helps a lot.
Why did you say yes to the job?
Because it was offered.
Because it was offered? There had to be something about...
I know Amanda, right? I worked with her on other projects, and it came and it was a good story, and it was interesting. And I would much rather be doing documentaries than a lot of the commercial work that I've done.
Sure.
So I was like, yeah, I'll do this.
What do you think is... What is it that you would like... I mean, maybe you don't care, but what is it that you would like people to really glean from watching this feature?
Oh, really? I just want people to watch it and be inspired by it, right? Like these doctors essentially stood up and treated patients that no one wanted anything to do with.
In the middle of Utah.
In the middle of a conservative state.
And like the AIDS crisis, like everybody felt like in New York, for instance, I know this from, because I spent time in New York. I know people who are of the LGBTQ community over there, older ones. They're talking about like people going into apartment buildings wearing fucking hazmat suits because nobody knew what was going on.
Originally, they didn't even know how it was spread. Right.
So this was kind of pretty spectacular, I think. You have the AIDS crisis in a very, very conservative state, and people didn't at this point didn't even know where the virus was coming from or what was causing it. They just called it a gay disease,
gay cancer originally. Yeah.
So how did that affect the two doctors that were actually, what were their names again?
Kristen Reese and Maggie Snyder. So Kristen Reese was the doctor, and Maggie Snyder was her nurse practitioner. Kristen Reese got started in infectious disease, and so she was pretty certain early on that it was an infectious disease, and it interested her. And she was one of the first people in Utah to like really start pushing for education on it.
That's crazy.
And as a result, everyone's kept sending the patients to her.
So she was dealing with people who were from out of state as well.
I'm sure she was, but most of them were from Utah, I believe.
For sure.
But there may have been some from Wyoming and Idaho. I don't know for certain.
What do you think was probably the most challenging thing about editing the film?
Oh, just getting it interesting, right? It is an interesting story, but
you kind of need more than just the story sometimes, right? I mean,
I'm sorry, say that again.
You need more than just the story sometimes, right?
Well, you have to be able to create the conflict of like an arc, essentially. Right?
Yeah, sure.
And so through most of this, they're treating patients who are coming in, they're getting sick, and they're dying, and that is the what most of their work was, especially through the 80s, right?
Right.
And so it was also creating this thing where there is conflict going on too, because you can't just treat people and have them die and have that be the story, right? And so there was the conflict of like how that was affecting them. There was the conflict of like how the state was reacting to it. There was the conflict of how the LDS Church was reacting to it.
Absolutely.
And kind of creating these things was a little bit challenging.
Cool. Do you have any advice for filmmakers here in SLC or otherwise when it comes to tackling a documentary?
Well, if you're doing a feature, just be prepared to put a lot of hours into it and probably at least a number of months, and expect that to happen. Okay, awesome. Well, Ryan, I can't thank you enough, brother, for coming in and letting me know a little bit behind the scenes as to what you're dealing with, the process, and that kind of thing. Congratulations. Thank you. On contributing to a Sundance Film Festival entry. And hopefully we'll see many more, man. Congratulations. It's awesome. Thank you very much. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Full Focus, the cinema-based entertainment podcast where three freelancers come together to talk shop. My name is Mike, and as always, I'm joined by my brothers in crime. To my right, cinematographer and video specialist, Mr. Umberto Estrada. Bert, how you doing, sir?
Did I disappoint you or leave a bad taste in your mouth? You act like you never had love, and you want me to do without.
God damn. I'm crying. All right. And to my left, producer, educator, actor, Mr. Robert Andrus.
Oscar winner.
Mr. Robert Andrus. Andrus, how are you, sir?
That had a great sound.
That was
to it.
unbelievable,
Thank you, Bert.
right?
Thank you, Bert.
Oh my God. So, guys, it is a pleasure to be speaking to you once more. I know it's been a little bit since we've gotten the boys together, but that's because we're kind of a big deal here in SLC. So,
Or we're lazy.
yeah, exactly. But
Andrews jokes about being busy,
he jokes about being busy.
but it's not real.
Oh, I don't know. He was busy today.
No, I spied on him. He watches like a lot of TV. Ask him any show. Any show.
Young Sheldon.
No. I
No,
don't.
thank you. Thank you very much.
Don't lie. You've
See?
seen
No,
it.
See?
I know of it. I've never seen
No,
it.
absolutely not. Okay,
Yeah,
so guys.
do a different one just for Bert. Do a
Okay,
different one.
whose line is it anyway?
No.
No, absolutely
Try
not. See? I'm telling you.
Try another one. One more.
Wait, who's that dude? Carey, right? For whose lines anyway?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, Carey.
Yeah, Drew Carey.
Oh, Jim Carrey?
No, dude.
He came out of retirement?
Drew Carey.
I know.
Carey.
I know.
He had a show, bro. Anyway, so guys,
Was it Sheldon?
He had a show, yeah.
Was it called Sheldon?
No. How dare you? So guys, for this episode, we're in the time of year where it is Sundance Film Festival season, and we thought, right, or yay, who knows? And we thought it would be fun.
We don't know.
We don't know. I thought it would be fun. Well, I thought it would be fun for us to go through and check out some of the shows, some of the movies that are
We did
popping
this
up.
last year.
We did
And
do
nobody
it.
saw the movies.
Well, that's not our fault.
No, we didn't see them.
Oh, we didn't see him. No, we didn't. But that we have the power to atone, Bert. And hopefully, after we see these kick-ass trailers, I'm going to be beside myself. We're going to play some trailers for you guys, and as you know, we have a slight idea of what it means to work in the back ends when it comes to film and that kind of thing. And we're going to just ask a big question when it comes to all these trailers that we are going to watch together with you. How did this make us into Sundance? Or why? So we got a couple of trailers that are lined up that you're going to be able to watch with us, or to our audio listeners, you're going to be able to listen to with us. And the panel, me and these two other crazy animals, are going to discuss as to why this is in Sundance and if we would see it. So we're just going to jump right in, get that taken care of as quickly as possible after I ask my compatriots a couple questions. Guys, how you doing? Everything okay? It's been a while since we got last episode. Is
I'm
everything
getting 3 pounds, and I got jock itch.
good?
Can you add some crickets in there?
No,
post?
Nobody cares.
3 pounds in jock itch. I think there's probably plenty of people who have jock itch right now, brother. That's all right.
Well, you think it's because of the dry weather?
No, not at all. Not at all. I think it's just scratching
You think
your
it's just moist?
Yeah, exactly. Don't ever use that word in my presence again.
That's true. You don't like moist.
Not at all. No, because
I like peanut butter and moist.
Oh, fuck you.
I like milk and moist.
Oh, don't do
Peanut
it.
butter and moist.
Sounds like a great album cover or something, right?
Yeah.
You know, okay, no, I take it back. It's a good word. Never
Moisty
mind. You-
PB&J.
Yeah. Ugh. Okay. So anyway,
Oscar winner.
Oscar
Anders.
winner Robert Andrus. All right, fine. So you guys seem to be doing good. That's all right.
Well, I'm okay.
Yeah. Andrus, how are you doing, boss?
I'm doing all right. How
Good.
are you, Mike?
I'm stressed.
Why?
But I'm good because I have to talk to this guy over here.
And don't be stressed.
This man hasn't been in my house in like the past month and a half, and all of a sudden he comes back here. He's talking about jock itch. You son of a bitch.
This is
And your
fun.
girlfriend, remember that too? I mean, like the cookie incident?
Yeah, for real.
cookie
Cannot forget the
incident.
cookie incident.
P&B.
Hey, I'll have you know those cookies were not moist at all. All right, thank you very much.
Yeah, they were kind of
They were
They
dry.
were kind of dry, but they were delicious. Okay, good. Glad you guys are doing okay. The first trailer we're gonna watch, Jesus Christ, is for the movie Beirut, and
See, you started with a movie called Beirut.
it's true because I'm a trendsetter. Okay.
Or that's what was available on
Yeah.
YouTube.
A little bit of both, right? A little column A, a little column B. But anyway, regardless of that, this movie did make it into
Chris is
Sundance
yawning, dude.
as an official
He's so big
selection.
time that he's yawning.
The synopsis of Beirut is a U.S. diplomat flees Lebanon in 1972 after a tragic incident at his home. 10 years later, he is called back to war-torn Beirut by CIA operatives to negotiate for the life of a friend he left behind. Here we go.
I was raised as an only child with two people who basically hated each other just enough to stay
Your
together.
head's in the way.
So I guess you could say I've been mediating since well before I was born. Years before I heard the term mutually assured destruction, I was very familiar with it growing up in that house.
That ruins your day.
Yes, it does.
Mason Francis Skiles, 45 years old. 10 years ago, he was deputy chief of mission here, until his wife was killed.
Jesus.
He's damaged goods, but he's manageable.
Hey, is that the dude from Breaking Bad?
Tell me what I'm doing here.
Bryan Cranston?
Nights ago,
No.
American was pulled off
The
the
cop.
street in West Beirut.
Maybe.
Next morning, we got a communique from
We can look at it again if you want.
the Militia of Islamic Liberation. They have the guy they want to talk. They want you to broker the deal.
They asked for you specifically.
Your friend Cal, he's the hostage.
Is that Ed Sheeran?
No, that's the guy from Atlantic City or whatever.
For bodies to pile up on the embassy side.
Who, the main?
Yeah, not the main. No.
Oh, the redhead, right?
The main is Mr. Ham
Damn, that's what I thought.
from Mad Men. From the writer of the Bourne trilogy.
What do you want?
I will track Al Riley for the return of my brother, Rafael Borajan.
Give me a meeting in Israel.
Munich Olympics, Madrid, flight 305, 46 days. All of this, Rafid Abu Rajab.
Is this about you looking for the man who killed your wife?
If they can't find your brother, you're gonna have to come up with an alternative.
This is alternative.
He's given us 6 hours to deliver the brother.
He's hiding. He's been driven so deep his own people don't know where he is.
Right now, there's a hell of a lot of unprotected pieces in the field.
Do you think they want to save
put a wig,
Cal, or do you think
right?
they want to save the
Yeah,
information?
it's him.
That's an ugly question.
The cop, right?
Hank.
Yeah, Hank.
Right?
Clearly, the monsters have taken over Lebanon.
Man, all you need to do is wear a rug. It's so different.
keys to the city?
I need to see Cal.
It's impossible.
It's only impossible if he's dead. 2,000 years of revenge, vendetta, murder. Welcome to Beirut.
Oh, man. So, guys, brought to you by Bleecker Street Films. Let's forward this by saying that nobody here at Pull Focus have seen any of these trailers, but we're, embedded in Salt Lake City, Utah culture, and we're embedded in Sundance to a point. So keep that in mind. When I ask this question, gentlemen, why did this film make it into Sundance? And would you see it?
You going to know?
I can start.
Go for it.
I don't know how Sundance chooses their movies.
Okay.
I would say based on the fact that it has stars like John Hamm and Rosamund Pike,
Right.
Hank from Breaking Bad.
Hank from Breaking
Rosamund
Bad.
Pike?
Let's get some names on that. Hold on a
Rosamund
second.
Pike, she was in
Oh, is that the blonde? The blonde?
The Blonde.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
she
enough.
was in the Ben Affleck movie.
I don't care.
Gone
mean,
Girl? Gone Girl? Is that the one? Gone Girl?
Yeah, Gone Girl.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think I saw that.
So the reason I think that Dean Norris. That's
Dean
his name.
Norris.
Yeah.
I like him.
I do too.
a good show.
I mean, it's political. It's Middle Eastern.
Right.
It's terrorist oriented. So it's edgy. It's potentially current.
Yeah.
Based on like wartime topics and
The
stuff like
past
that.
decade of wartime topics. Quite nice.
But
Topics?
topics.
Beer number 3, ladies and gentlemen.
That
You're sad.
definitely topics.
Yeah.
This rum and coke is very good, though.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, so I think that there's certain criteria that they have. I'm not sure what that is.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't really look all
Yeah,
that
to me-
interesting to me. Like
Yeah.
I might watch it on DVD.
It's
or
kinda cookie cutter, right?
streaming or something like that. But I feel like I've seen that movie before.
Yeah, the
maybe
main-
not that specific story, but I've seen that movie.
The main reason as to why I asked that question first, why to make it into Sundance, is because I think that, quite honestly, you gentlemen more than myself have an idea of the culture around Salt Lake, culture around Park City, the culture around.
Yeah, but I don't think that has anything to do with it.
I know we can talk about that, but my point is that I think you guys have a good idea of that, and I think that over the time of working in Salt Lake, you guys admittedly have been working longer than I have in regards to the culture here, the attitudes here when it comes to cinema, and I think you have a better idea about what things you'd expect to be quote unquote a Sundance film more than I would. So that's why I'm asking that question.
I don't think it's a Sundance film.
Why not? Why
It's
don't you?
changed so much over the years too.
Yeah.
No, I don't know about that because I mean, like what a Sundance film for most part, they still, even with the big names, try to do an indie film or at least an indie flavored film.
Yeah.
Meaning that it's minimalistic,
Right.
small cast, mostly an actor's punch. With this film, it's no different than like if Spielberg would have directed it. I mean, it's Munich 2.
Good call. I was thinking of Munich when I was watching this entire trailer.
It's not that it's. I mean, when we talk about like what Sundance used to represent, I still think that they try and cop that. I mean, I think they still try to copy that and say, "Oh, we're edgy."
Try to get that edgy indie feel.
I mean, if you look at the movies that we saw last year, the ones that we saw last year, for the podcast,
some of them were pretty interesting. I mean,
Well,
the trailers
there were more
still-
indie movies.
Yeah.
They had the
Again,
indie flavor of
I
indie
think
I
film.
think the biggest key though is minimalistic. Films.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like the what's that movie right now that's nominated for an Oscar? The 3 Mile and the billboard thing. What's it called? The billboard.
I know
Billboards.
exactly what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
but you guys know what I'm talking about,
billboards,
right? Yeah. Okay, so you look at a film like that, and that's like a Sundance film.
3
even though it has
billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri.
because it's more of an actor's piece, very minimalistic. Another movie that I just recently saw, Get Out, another Sundance type of film.
Just a camera and actors in a room.
Exactly, that's it. Whereas this is like, well,
It's an action flick.
and they're trying to get, okay, at least by that trailer, and I'm no authority, and,
Yeah.
and I don't.
Well, that's what's fun about this a little
Yeah.
bit. Like I want to make sure everybody understands for the third time, we have not seen these films, we have not seen these trailers. I am basing this against the experience that I have living in Utah and being like pushed up front with this awesome culture, I think, for the past 5 some odd years, and leveling that against two. I mean, you guys are veterans when it comes to Sundance in a sense. I think.
But what I was going to say with this, to me, and maybe you guys will disagree, is that this is to get Jim Johnson off the couch
Yeah.
to go see a film at Sundance.
Oh shit.
Because it's not.
We have guns.
Yeah,
we
yeah,
have conflict.
explosions,
We have women. We have men.
Exactly. Right.
He's trying to save
Because
his
let's
little
be honest,
brother.
the Sundance crowd for the ones that are the freaking tourists, as far as like they go in there and they're pretentious.
Yeah.
They read books.
Yeah.
They think that they're cultured.
They read books.
So they go to Sundance and they know film.
Not right.
Whereas like what I think has happened is that like the star power has risen so high or lowered to the sense of like, man, we need a gig, so I'll just work on anything.
Yeah.
That like you do have more high powered films at Sundance as far as like cast is concerned.
Yeah.
And even directors. Maybe the directors will be like first time.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it'll be like, oh yeah, I know him. Oh yeah, look at his cast. I mean, his cast is
The
ridiculous.
cast is great.
Yeah.
Sundance is this unicorn because they've been able to prove that when you have it used to be when you have something extraordinary, regardless of it's going to beat the odds. That's what I'm trying to say. Now, and we touched on this, I think, the last time we did this a year ago. That's right, folks. We managed to maintain our friendship for an entire year.
It's been hard.
Very, very hard. No, actually, I thought it was kind of easy. But anyway, we talked.
so nice.
Oh, thanks. I'm just being honest. We talked about how the culture had changed, and that's something I hope we touch on throughout the next hour and a half or whatever we're going to be talking about, because I think that you guys are going to find that there might have been a bit of a shift. I think that with these trailers coming up, you're going to see that there might have been a little bit of, for lack of a better term, quote unquote, old school Sundance attitude coming through with these popular
You think that was
films.
old school?
Not this one, no, absolutely
Okay,
not.
'cause
But coming up,
yeah.
we got 8 trailers to watch, brother.
I'm
Don't worry.
asleep. But as far as I'm concerned, this is a movie that would go like it's a studio movie.
Yeah,
You could put it at Sundance. I don't know if it was for competition.
yeah,
I doubt that it was.
yeah.
It doesn't
probably
feel like a
premiered-
competition
yeah,
piece
No.
for me.
I
No.
bet it premiered at Sundance. But this is a theater runner.
Okay.
This is going to be one of those things where, like, whether it was in Sundance or Telluride or wherever,
Yeah.
it wouldn't have mattered. you
Sundance
know?
is just part of the tour
Right,
dates that this film
exactly.
has.
Yeah, and so great, Beirut. But
All right, cool. Well, let's move on to the next one then, because that's enough for me to really go further. Let's move on to Don't
You're-
Worry.
You're
over it?
Yeah, I'm over it.
Would you watch it?
Oh, that's a great question. Yeah, I'd watch it. I wouldn't see it in the cinema though.
Damn you. See, that's why theaters are closing. Way to go.
I know, you're right.
It's your fault.
Well,
Oh,
let's do a count off and see how many we actually went to go to the
Oh,
theater
okay.
for.
Well, again, like last
Right
year,
now
I
it's
don't think we
0.
saw any of them.
I don't think we didn't. I don't think we agreed on any of them
and
either.
I totally got confused too because I was talking about I was referencing our Oscar conversation,
Yeah,
not the
exactly.
Sundance conversation.
What, just now?
Yeah, so I'm a little bit.
Wait, so you were thinking that that's
nutty.
an Oscar runner?
No, that's my point.
Damn, Oscar.
When I made
See,
my
he gets
reference,
nominated, he thinks he's
You're
all
telling
bad.
me.
when I made
Yeah,
my
exactly.
reference, I was talking about the Oscars, thinking about Sundance. I got my wires crossed.
I'm wired.
It's
Right.
okay. Oh, you're definitely wired.
So
I'm trying to
let's
catch up.
watch this one and see. And
Okay,
maybe
so let-
I'll change my opinion.
I like that. You're staying open to different kinds of stimulus, Andrus. Excellent
you.
job.
Thank
So this next one is for Don't Worry, He Won't Get Far on Foot. This is actually from an Amazon film, the Amazon Studios, which is something that I want to touch on a little bit before we go forward.
Mm-hmm.
There are a number of films here that are premiering at Sundance that are, contributors to the festival that are from online service providers,
See,
not
and
from big studios.
This is irritating because if it is it's Amazon
Yeah.
production,
Yeah.
right? How independent is that? That's a studio.
That's an excellent
You
question.
know what I mean? And so if we're talking about an independent backed by a studio,
That's an excellent question.
that's a problem
Great
for
point.
me.
Love you.
I'm begging you. I am literally begging
Stop
you.
talking to me.
Thank you. Okay, go ahead. Don't move your head around when you're going around the microphone because it sounds like a Doppler effect and it's not going to be very effective for the fucking podcast.
I like that.
Thank you.
That was fun.
I hope
You have
you're dizzy.
whiplash? Yeah.
My neck does hurt a
But
little bit.
here
Anyway,
Yeah.
Bert, you had a
is
point.
my thing about Amazon and Netflix and so on.
Okay.
Though I agree with you on a fundamental basis, they got money. They're
Right.
making more money.
Right.
But one of the things that I've really enjoyed about the internet, though in particular Netflix,
Is the
and
content
Amazon,
issue?
not only that, but they don't just. They really do try and do indie, and not only that, but they do worldly.
I think that's a good point.
like-
I
honestly.
agree with you there.
Yeah.
And that's not my
and,
judgment.
And then
Yeah.
like the first film we saw had ham in it,
Yeah.
Whereas like in Netflix and Amazon,
Yeah.
you are more likely to either find C players
Yeah.
that are carrying the show, or something entirely completely different that you've never seen in your life.
Because they have the capability nowadays to move away from the quote unquote Hollywood movie.
Correct. Or profitability.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
and
because it's all about subscribers at that point. So you watch whatever you want.
Yeah.
So I would say
Hmm.
that John did get his fame from independent work.
John
Hamm.
Come on,
Right?
man.
And
What
then he
put him on
did
the map
Mad
was
Men.
Mad Men.
I understand that. But the reason he got Mad Men was because maybe he was more in the independent realm than the mainstream realm.
Now, you're an actor's actor, so you probably knew who he was. But Mike...
Honestly, I don't think that I did before I
then
saw
that's
that.
even better.
So, yeah.
Because, who the hell's Mike?
John Hamm.
John Hamm.
Right.
I don't even know his name.
Well,
up until Mad Men.
Because I'm a madman.
And that's
Mad
my
Men,
point.
yeah.
I was going to bring that back to Ethan Hawke, right? Ethan Hawke has done so much body of work
done a
in the independent realm.
huge indie catalog.
He does his own. He does his
Yeah,
own
but he has the
films
rep.
through the
Yeah.
correct. But that he also used it as a platform to carry that further. So if John Hamm was grandfathered in based on his previous work, which I'm not sure, that could also be an influencer on him getting
True.
a movie in.
Which is a debate for another time, I think. But an excellent point.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the next Sundance Film Festival entry. Don't worry, he won't get far on foot. Again, what we mentioned before, an Amazon Studios film.
That is something that we should talk about.
Yeah, I agree.
I could go a
Well,
couple
I started
miles.
drinking when I was
Oh, fuck.
13,
Come on,
Yeah,
man.
here we go. Phoenix.
and I never
I
stopped.
saw the trailer.
We have Joaquin.
This is actually going to get released in the theater.
Yeah.
Don't they know we're so afraid?
This doesn't just go away. You have to fight with
Put a
it.
skinny Jonah
or you
Hill.
die.
Come on. Put John Lennon.
Oh, jeez.
I saw the trailer.
It's Gus Van Sant.
Profound.
Okay, so again, independent world,
Well,
big budget movies.
Yeah, but still.
Understand,
That does not even look like him.
you've
A lot
caused
of weight.
I would have
so
sex with
much
Rena Man.
pain.
I would. I think she's really pretty
You're
good.
just a
Would you have sex with Jack Black, though?
human. A victim of the
Maybe.
insane.
Aren't you glad you met us?
John doesn't like us.
Well, of course I like you.
You're crazy.
We like you too.
Wait till you get to know me.
Stupid.
Holy shit. Okay, so you think it's stupid.
That was a great movie, though.
We'll go on to that later. So let's talk about this one, guys. Don't worry, he won't get far on foot. Let's just keep on the order. Andres, I'll put up the questions to you first. Why is this the Sundance, and would you go see it?
Okay.
Based off the trailer.
Gus Van Sant, Joaquin Phoenix, Jonah Hill,
Get the fuck out of
Rooney
here, right?
Mara.
Yeah.
I mean, it's her.
Yeah.
It's the cast from her, from
Jack
a
Black.
director, and yeah, right.
Coming off of Jumanji.
Okay, so here's the thing. If
Jumanji was a fun
If I'm
movie.
with a group of friends
That has
and
nothing
they're
to do
like,
with it.
"Do you
I'm
want to
just
watch a
saying.
movie?"
Come on.
Then I'm like, "Sure, throw in a movie." And if it's on, I'm gonna watch it. I'm not gonna go watch it based on that trailer. If I like Gus Van Sant, I might go see it. If
Okay.
I like any of the actors in it, I might go see it.
Now you were
Based
making,
on that, no.
you were making a roll call though of the talented
That's exactly what I'm
directors
saying.
and the actors. Is that why it made it into Sundance?
I think it's the affiliation that they have.
Gus Van Sant.
Absolutely.
Wicked.
Gus Van
Sundance
Sant,
darling.
Joaquin Phoenix alone.
I mean, he built Sundance. I mean, he's one of the founders of Sundance as far as like when indie was really popular in the 90s.
Yeah.
Gus Van Sant's name was on it.
For real, for real.
Like, so it's one of those things where it's pretty easy to like, he could fart in a bag. Oh my God, Robert's on top of it. You know, like he's, yeah, Gus is back. You know, so you go, whatever. I mean, you know, like
I thought that was a touching fucking trailer, honestly.
no, but
So yes, it is, and
Not really.
I wanna watch
sound
it- I wanna watch
sound
this
like
movie.
I sound like a complete dick.
I do. You don't sound
Saying
like a
what I'm
complete
saying
dick.
about it, right?
kind
Well,
of
no,
a dick?
because it's like,
We
oh,
can't.
Oscar
Wait. We can't argue that the talent pool in this particular feature is high. And you're right. Gus Van Sant is, the Captain Nemo of fucking independent film, and in a lot of respects. So why wouldn't? I mean, this man could have a YouTube channel. It could be nominated for an award on Sundance.
It's correct. That's
number
absolutely
one
right.
right now, if I'm an emotional person, which I am right now, I don't want to go watch a movie and become emotional based on
I feel
what
ya.
I have going on there.
Do you want me
I'm
to
good.
show you a magic trick to make you less depressed or anything like that?
No, I'm just
What?
going to listen to
Measurement?
Bert.
See? Joy comes out of this man's mouth. All right, so Bert, I know you can't help yourself from talking over everybody.
That's
so
'cause you guys
I
are
will,
stupid.
No, please shut up. So I'll ask you officially, why is this an entry in the Sundance Film Festival, and would you go see it based on the trailer?
You need to help me out. Who's the actor in Shameless, the main dude?
The actor in Shameless.
Yeah, the old guy.
You're talking about.
God, he was in Fargo.
Okay,
Yeah,
hang on, William H. Macy.
Yeah,
Yes,
Macy.
thank you.
Okay.
Just
Jesus
give me
Christ.
5
So-
seconds to process in my brain.
4 years ago, Macy had a film that he produced. I think he might have directed it, where it was with the dude from Deadwood. That was what's his name's best friend, the Jew.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, so you're talking about John Hawkes.
Okay, so that was his character
John Hawkes
name.
was in a movie that
Well,
I
it's
cast.
not
so I get
Character
it.
name. That was his character name, the Jew. You're not just
Stop
saying
talking. Let me make my point.
John Hawkes was
Hawks. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It's John
You're
Hawkes.
Right.
Yeah.
So he's stuck in an iron lung.
I love you both so much.
Yeah.
And then like he's crippled and he can't move and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's the exact same movie.
Ooh.
Now, here's the thing. The difference was
What was the name of the movie?
Well, here's
I totally forgot. Just
here's
look
another
up
one
and-
too. There's another one that I saw with my buddy a while ago about a guy stuck in a chair that wasn't able to do any. It seemed like the
but
same
let,
movie.
Let me finish.
Yeah.
Okay.
This was a Sundance selection because I interviewed Macy. And so, like, we interview Macy, and he's all about this film and stuff like that. It's the exact same film, but the difference is Macy's not Joaquin Phoenix.
No.
He's not Jack Black. He's not Jonah Hill.
He's a freaking amazing actor. is what
Without
he
a doubt.
is, yeah.
He's one of my favorite actors. But what I'm getting at is that it is very indie. You know, they shot it outside a house. They got a church. It's very one of the things about these indie films too that are amazing is that they're always tied to the town that they shot. So it's very like, East Coast type of film.
Right.
About the culture and so on and so forth. Really great film. But the difference was, again, the star power was lower. So you felt like this is a true Sundance film.
Right.
This is Oscar bait. I mean, and it's not necessarily.
I hear you with the Oscar bait. I totally hear you.
I don't think it'll be nominated. I don't know. It might be too early or whatever. But let's be honest. Joaquin, he didn't pick it because it was like, oh, well, it's just a paycheck. He knows what it is. And then especially if it's making a tour around in Sundance and all the film festivals, he knows the payoff.
Yeah.
He knows what crowd's going to come in. Again, it's the pretentious, like, oh, I saw a great film.
Well, it's also okay. So you're saying that's what the skiers in Park City who come to Utah once out of the year can say to themselves. Where it's like, I was there when Joaquin. They use a first name basis. When Joaquin, Mr. P, he rose from the ashes. I made up that pun.
That's right. That's right.
There's relevance to that topic as well because apparently things are a little bit different now than what they used to be.
Yeah.
And all the stars are gone halfway through.
Well, I don't even care about that. But like as far as
that's an excellent point, and we could actually fill up a whole show on that subject alone. But you were saying, Berg.
Well, the point being, and he didn't direct that one, but I know he was involved in like the production as far as because Rudderless was his first movie, and that's a hell of a movie.
Yeah.
But the point being is that
I'm just trying to find the one that the ones who made He Won't Get Far on Foot. Actually, great title I think for this film. What they were copying from.
But this film would be made anyway, and that's the problem that I have with Sundance in general. And I think I had it last year too. Is that these two films that we've seen would be made and seen anyway. The reason that like your guest,
so you're saying they're exploiting Sundance a little bit.
The guest that you had earlier, his film will not be seen by the same people that will watch these films.
So wait a minute, Bert. Are you telling me that we are in such a commercialistic attitude when it comes to entertainment that true, quote unquote, Sundance films are not going to be truly appreciated at the Sundance Film
the
Festival?
Hardcore guys that go to Sundance, and I used to be one of them and stuff like that. They go to the foreign films and the doc films and the short films.
Which we have a couple that we can talk about because that's on the lineup tonight.
Those are the films that you may not see ever again. A movie with Ham, a movie with Joaquin Phoenix. Come on, man.
I agree.
I can understand where you guys are coming from because it takes. We're in a place right now, and I think it's been this way for a few years. We definitely touched on this last year when we did this. Sundance has lost kind of like a bit of the romantic attitude towards it, where you could have somebody who was
that's been a while. Though.
Yeah, a while unknown, but get their art seen by people of influence and affect cinema. Honestly, I know I'm using like big ideas here, but affect cinema in a really impactful way.
Here's an example.
And now it's part of the press circuit.
Yeah, here's an example. A film like that sells out for the entire 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Whether you see it opening night or you see it the last day. The film that Ryan edited, if he filled the house, that's awesome.
But it might be even a better film. Who knows?
Topically, it is. It's more interesting. It's about AIDS, you know? It's like, it's a downer. But so's this thing. I mean, it's a dude in a wheelchair, you know? So it's like, the point being is even though it's different, documentary versus narrative, and I get that.
Yeah.
You're more likely to see this film wherever. Amazon, because you know Amazon's going to pimp it out.
Oh, for sure.
You know,
and they have the money to do so.
Yeah, exactly. Or it goes to theater. They're going to pimp it out. But a small film with relative unknown, because us as independent filmmakers, in particular, like Andrus has worked in a ton of independent films.
Absolutely.
You know,
good independent.
There's a theater that maybe held 20 people, and the work is still the same as far as like we made a movie and we tried to show it, you know. But the reality of it is, if he got blessed to get into Sundance, he would never have the punch that Joaquin Phoenix has.
Right.
But the hopes is that the acting prowess stands out, and the newcomer, even though he's been doing this shit for 25 years, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? But he's a newcomer now. So the point being,
I think you're saying, I don't want to cut you off too much. I mean to cut you off completely, even though I love the sound of your voice, is that I think the allegory here is that Sundance in and of itself has become this model for the goal being your capability to sell out.
Well,
is that too negative?
I would still say they have the original platform of we are promoting independent filmmaking. We're promoting creativity. We're promoting all of this.
We personally are.
But we also have to cater to the masses and get butts and seats.
And there's the logical standpoint.
And I mean, literally, I think that's why a lot of them. Well, if we are just doing independent, well, then we have just independent people.
Yeah,
show
People
up.
would go, though.
Okay,
I understand
you're right.
that,
Both
and I
you guys
agree
make,
with you.
Both you guys make excellent points. Let's move on to the next trailer. And just so you guys understand that the previous trailer I didn't read the synopsis for because you're going to hear about this movie regardless of what I read. But the next one, A Futile and Stupid Gesture by David Wayne. I guess he was the director for it. The story of comedy wonderkind Doug Kennedy. Wunderkind, thank you very much.
Means,
who co-created the National Lampoon Caddyshack and Animal House. Kenny was at the center of the 70s comedy counterculture, which gave birth to Saturday Night Live and a whole generation's way of looking at the world. And again, this is brought to us by another big online manufacturer, Netflix. Here we go.
Could you just introduce yourself?
My name is Doug Kenny. I started the National Lampoon.
What if you say, I was
And
the
that
man who
is
changed
not Doug
comedy
Kenny.
forever, but I couldn't change myself.
Really? Blow me.
If we're running our own magazine, we can do anything we want. We can publish knock-knock jokes.
Knock-knock.
Who's there?
Me.
Me who?
Me not doing the magazine.
That can go in issue 1.
Holy shit.
It's a total failure. We're selling less than half our print run.
You're not gonna hurt him, right?
No.
What are you doing?
Don't worry, I don't think there's any bullets in there.
Catches!
The Mormons are protesting. The feminists hate us. What do we do to the Catholics? Liza Minnelli?
We are being sued by Disney. Maybe it wasn't such a hot idea to have Minnie Mouse flashing her tits.
She has pasties on.
Okay,
Ready, girls?
that's the Flash.
Three,
Yeah.
We've got the Flash in this.
1.
Catherine, I'm the woman you're hitting on.
Doug Kenny, Chagrin Falls, Ohio.
Emmy Rossum,
Yeah,
she's awesome.
We're barely able to put out a magazine.
She is a quality human
Barely be
being.
able to do something else.
The first National Lampoon movie.
Laser Orgy Girls. Doug Kenny, Chagrin Falls, Ohio.
One of the writers of Animal House.
Food fight! You call this success?
Mostly an excuse to party.
You've ruined this company.
I can't come back a failure.
I do care about you, Doug.
Laugh, goddammit!
You need to see someone.
Inside that bungalow, some of the creators of Animal House are working on their next movie, Caddyshack.
And I'm sure it's gonna be just as crazy.
Doug, we need to decide. Is it clear he's jerking his dick off here?
Yeah, because we can make it higher or lower depending on the size of my dog.
These actors don't look exactly like the real people. But come on, you think I look like Will Forte when I was 27? You think Will Forte is 27?
Let's do this. This is for the magazine, right?
Wow.
Okay, so...
Oh, cool. It's going to premiere in Netflix?
Yeah, actually.
That's awesome.
That is one thing that I want to talk to you guys
2 days
about.
ago?
It's
I didn't
out.
see
It's
it.
tonight.
It's 2 days ago. 2 days ago.
2 days ago.
I'm going to check it out tonight.
You might,
Hey,
from
there
that
you
trailer
go. There's
alone.
your answer.
There
I'm
we
going
go.
to check that out tonight.
So let's do that. Bert, why is this a Sundance Film Festival entry, and would you see it based on the trailer?
Well, first of all, it totally it has that indie feel.
Yeah.
I mean, just looking at the
Regardless of it being made by a major online distributor? To Netflix?
It feels like a Christopher Guest.
I said earlier, yeah.
It feels
like I said earlier, I do think that they're proponent of indie film and video.
All comes around.
Yeah,
I'm glad you said that.
Amazon and Netflix, again, promote stuff that we would normally see.
Yeah.
So that's why I think people are leaving TV, with the exception of maybe HBO and Showtime, and then the other ones are like they have that one hit wonder. But the reality of it is, those are the guys that have broken stereotype and what we see as
Right.
TV. Normal TV is still Dancing with Stars. It
Yeah.
just might be called something different.
Yeah, it's true.
And so with this thing, totally indie film.
Yeah.
You don't have really big headliners.
Right.
As far as we might recognize.
Which we've touched on before. That is an integral part of the indie equation.
Exactly. They'll break out with this.
Yeah.
These are the films that they want to break out with. Or at least get the rep. At least get the, man, he did that indie film and it was awesome. Again, talking about Ethan Hawke.
Yeah, for sure.
Ethan Hawke got a rep and then did Training Day, kind of thing. And
Right.
so,
Exactly.
And so, that's to belittle the man's career, but
Yeah,
the
yeah.
reality of it is that he is an indie star.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure.
Same thing with this thing. And again, it feels raw. It feels like, man, let's just slap a movie together because
Right.
it's interesting and it's
It
cool.
hasn't been done
let's
before,
have fun.
really.
Whether it's whatever genre it is, it hasn't been done before.
Yeah.
I mean, like it has all the elements that you get excited to go see at a film festival.
One thing that I would like us both to come back to, all three of us to come back to, and like you knocked it out of the park, I think, because it premiered 2 days ago. Yeah, of course you did. It premiered 2 weeks ago.
Oh, God.
And,
That was awesome.
Okay, I'll come back to it. Andres, why is this a Sundance film entry, and would you watch it based on the trailer?
I think that it has the indie feel. I think that it has some independent style
For sure.
actors in it. And I would see it just based on the fact that it's a National Lampoon's.
For real, that
like-
brand carries a lot of weight.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, I watch Christmas Vacation every Christmas.
Absolutely.
It's National Lampoon's.
So
Caddyshack,
It's a
Vacation.
beautiful thing.
Like, all of them were kind of defining type movies growing up.
Yeah.
So yeah, I want to watch about how that was created.
One thing I want to take 5 minutes on, and nothing more, is that I find it very interesting that on the same night that I saw this trailer, I came to realize that I could already watch this movie.
Right.
And that's based upon technologically where we're coming from. Netflix and Amazon, I mean, this is the strategy, right? You look at something, you're entertained by it. I want to watch it right now. Hey,
Here
you
it
can.
is.
How big of an impact is that when it comes to just the entire marketplace when it comes to cinema?
Well, one of the problems that I have with that
Yeah.
is that it has.
Of course, you have a problem with it.
Okay, because I'm an asshole. But
I don't think you're an asshole.
But the
Right.
speciality of film, or
Yeah.
the uniqueness of
The
film.
uniqueness of film is a much better word. Don't
yeah.
ever use speciality ever again.
Why? What's wrong with it?
It's not a word.
Oh, it isn't?
Oh, wait, speciality? Never mind, you're right. Never mind. Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, but uniqueness is a better word.
Uniqueness is a much better word, yeah.
Way to go, man. Way to go.
Thank you.
Way to make me look stupid, even though we're on a podcast.
That's the reason why I started this thing. Sorry, go ahead.
God, to make me look stupid.
Yeah.
Way to go, man.
Sorry, dude.
The uniqueness of film has been, in my opinion, watered down.
Yeah.
Because before it was a feat to make a movie.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, let's be honest.
It's
you don't even have
definitely
to run a
easier.
trailer. You just post it up, and if you see an actor that you like, or a director that you like, or a production company you like,
Yeah.
I mean, there hasn't been too many Netflix movies or Amazon movies that we can actually say, man, that was a dog. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
Like they're at least gonna be passable.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's because they're pulling the right strings. They've learned.
But how much of that weighs on the convenience of being able to see it? Convenience being you're in your own home.
It takes away the anticipation. And
Okay.
to me, that's a big deal.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, like
that's the reason why they have trailers for like the big movies.
That's
I mean,
exactly- why did we go to the theater? Really, was to spend that 15 minutes of going like, oh my god, I want to see that.
Yeah,
oh
yeah,
my
for
god,
sure.
that looks like a dog. Even though we're there to see the actual movie of whatever we chose.
You try to make it there for the trailer.
Exactly,
The
and
Blade-
especially if you're a film person.
Absolutely.
You know,
The Blade Runner trailer came out like what, like a year and a half before
that
the movie
Joaquin
was
Phoenix
even
was in the last movie that I went to see.
Yeah.
That trailer was there.
Yeah.
And so it's like, well, I mean, you get excited and you're like, oh, I want to go see that movie. Well, that's been taken away because now you can see the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, and so to me that hurts a little bit.
I feel you.
Because there isn't anything that surprises us anymore.
Yeah.
This film might be awesome. But I think because we open up floodgates, we forget films.
I think that's a good point.
Even though the film might be amazing.
Yeah.
Now, we'll remember a film because somebody that on the table, Andres might say, man, that movie was good. Oh, yeah, that was a great movie. But no longer do you promote film. If you, even with us, among us as friends,
Yeah.
they're like, dude, you need to go see blah, blah, blah. Or,
Yeah.
that was a hell of a movie.
People are talking more about Netflix than they are like.
Well, and very seldom do you go like, because of the accessibility,
right.
there isn't a want.
Which makes traditional filmmakers have to work even harder.
Absolutely. And so that uniqueness or work less.
Okay.
Because if you get the right combination, you're able to like make a film now.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And so it kind of sucks in my opinion.
Well, we all liked it. I think we're all gonna watch on Netflix sooner or later. And the reason as to why it was in Sundance because it was probably the first one out of the trailers that we found that isn't dedicating itself to this for lack of a better term, a big Hollywood idea. This definitely feels, at least, like a more independent film.
And Emmy Rossum is a beautiful human being.
She's beautiful.
Absolutely.
And she's also very, very awesome.
And extremely talented.
And very attractive.
Great singer,
attractive,
too.
I would say.
So let's move on to our first
Yes.
foreign entry
Christine,
in regards to the
Phantom of
lineup.
Opera.
This next trailer is
That's
for.
right. Yeah.
This next for.
Side conversation.
Side note.
Side
I met her
note.
at Sundance Film Lab.
So
She's
you
amazing.
know, like Game of Thrones gets that it has a lot of nudity.
Yeah.
Did you know that Shameless has more nudity?
I believe it.
So that's
I absolutely
awesome.
believe it.
Just throwing it out there.
Okay, good to know.
I know quite a few people in that show. So.
Name dropper?
Yeah,
Yes.
I know. I'm a
Oscar
horrible
winner.
person.
Oscar winner.
Or
Not yet.
Robert Andrews.
Not yet.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
2020.
I do have a picture with an Oscar about this big though.
Beautiful. I love it. I
Is
love
it a
it.
bank? You know,
It's a great looking picture.
It's,
Next one is our first foreign language
I don't do
entree into
foreign
Sundance is called Love
I hate
Language.
foreign films.
Well, it's going to be great for our video
I hate
audience.
foreigners.
Oh, this is Rio.
Oh wow!
This is Brazil.
For our video audience, it's gonna be great. For the audio listeners, try and go along with the Portuguese. If it's in Portuguese, never mind. Here we go.
Damn, you don't even know the language.
This is the first time I've seen. That's part of the episode today, dude. This is the first time any of us have seen these trailers.
I
Here we
can't
go.
read that.
Cara, você tá falando sério comigo? Eu tenho que falar uma parada. Me chamaram pra jogar handball na Alemanha.
It's about handball.
Esse é direito, meu batom. Tô bonita, Fernando.
A gente tem que agitar. É o visto, o passaporte, título de eleitor. Ele vai ter que emancipar.
Emancipar por quê?
Vai.
Não, acho que vai. Daqui a 2 anos ele vai ser outra pessoa. Vai chegar aqui e não vai nem conhecer a gente. A gente nem vai conhecer mais ele.
Okay, I'm already watching this one.
Yeah.
This is like an absolute independent film.
Yeah.
Absolutely want to see it.
Você vai realizar seu sonho.
Consegui. Obrigada.
Tu merece tudo isso, sabia, amor?
Você sabe o que eu mereço? Eu mereço mesmo é ganhar dinheiro com o meu próprio trabalho. É isso que eu mereço.
Ready?
Sorria. Isso, lindas.
Eu te amo.
Oh. Okay, so before my cat starts scratching at the door, let's get the synopsis of this really quick, guys. On the outskirts of Rio de Janeiro, Irene has only a few days to overcome her anxiety and renew her strength before sending her eldest son out into the world. Pretty general concept, but let's get back to the regular rotation. Andres, why did this movie make it into Sundance, and why would you go see it based on the trailer alone?
I would say based on the story, from what I could tell, it was poignant. It was relevant. It was a coming of age. Even though it's about a mother letting go of her son, I still think it's a coming of age. I think that it was beautifully shot.
Yeah, you can just tell from the trailer, right?
Some of those images were just gorgeous. Plus, it's got that indie vibe. You know, underneath the sheets, the lights. Beautiful stuff there.
Okay.
I would see it just based on that it touched me and the imagery that I just saw. Even though I don't speak the language, I understood what was going on.
Thank God for subtitles, huh?
The subtitles at work did it.
Awesome,
Yeah.
awesome. Bert, same questions, brother. Why is this a Sundance film entry, and would you go see it based on the trailer alone? Meh? I knew it!
Sure.
And here's why.
Okay, please explain. While you bring that microphone up to your face.
Put it in my mouth.
Thank you. Just swallow it, for God's sake.
All right, here's my problem with it.
Yeah.
It has the Sundance conventions. And, like, which, I mean, it's just contradictory to what I've been saying. But one of the problems that I have with it is...
Well, you're a hypocrite. That's fine.
That's fine. Like, Brazil puts it in, And we got to put it in.
Yeah.
It's Portuguese. And so like,
you think that's not the only reason though, dude?
No, and it might be a hell of a movie.
Right.
But my problem with it is and again, the reason that I would want to see this movie is because the argument would stand, will I ever see this movie again?
So that's something you consider whenever it comes to new films that are popping out.
In particular at a film festival.
For sure.
You know, like it's one thing if it's just a new movie, but I mean, if the film is as good as, like, let's say Andrew says, it'll make its circuit at Broadway.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It will. But because it looks like it's a higher production.
The local art house theater.
Yeah.
For sure.
Like it looks like it's a higher production. But the other thing too is and this is where I question, like, what Andrus is right in one sense, that who makes these calls?
That's an excellent question.
You know, like it's a panel. I understand that there's a panel. They watch thousands of films,
but they have to bend to a particular point of culture. And
exactly.
We've touched on that a little bit. Like they have to point to, like, you know, the big money makers, but they also have to be true to what the Sundance Film Festival is based upon.
And that's where, again, if I go to Sundance, these are the films that I watch. Now, the reason I went meh is because I'm not that interested in it as by looking at the trailer.
Okay, that's fine.
You know, I just think it's okay. I mean, it might be a beautiful film, but I'm not that interested.
Okay.
But this is a film that I would go see because I think that that's the spirit of Sundance.
I like that sentiment. I like that sentiment a lot.
Unfortunately, it's a foreign film. And what I mean, but
that's not fair, though.
No.
I mean, like,
hear me
foreign
out.
film. Okay.
Hear me out. Meaning that, like,
I mean, dude, it's fucking Sundance. Foreign films
No,
reign supreme.
and that's great because I mean, like, by far, it's going to reach other audiences that it would never reach.
Right.
It may reach. I mean, now the world's different, so now you can watch it on YouTube.
But for sure.
The point being is that, like, you want to see more of.
We're not advocating you going to see the pirated version of this on YouTube, by the way.
And I'm not even saying that I'm anti-foreign film at all.
Yeah.
You know, what I am saying is that just like you want to see more edgier films or at least beautiful films as far as Andrews described it.
Sure.
That would be made here as well. Does that make sense? That would have a chance to go out into the public.
So this isn't it kind of seems like you're coming from a place where, like, you know, okay, this looks nice and
You'd rather see the American version of it.
Or at the very least,
because that would be unique.
That we saw,
that would be unique. We've seen this movie before,
sure,
right?
You know?
Yeah, like the three contenders that we saw, including National Lampoon, will be released.
Absolutely,
period.
Absolutely,
period.
No question.
I mean,
well, they got the backing.
That's exactly right. This film, whatever language it would be in, you don't know. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But being a foreign film,
the distribution,
it definitely becomes more special because you go like, well, I'm not in Brazil. I mean, you know what I mean?
Right.
Now, it might be released in Brazil, and it might go huge in Brazil.
Right.
But in the United States, it's a toss-up. Who knows?
Yeah.
You know
or even worldwide, does it?
Absolutely.
Does
and
that reign relevant?
And maybe I'm being more hardcore and I sound retarded, but the fact is,
I think you make a good point.
Like I think that Sundance has lost that. You know, that thing that we just watched.
Yeah,
you know?
it used to be a situation where back in the day, well, I mean, not back in the day because, you know, there weren't enough famous people, enough studios that realized that, people are using this as a way, as a barometer to judge quality on film. It's a situation where this is more akin to that film that, like, just needed that spark. And Sundance, for a lot of films that all three of us love back in that came from that era, I'm talking like, you know, mid-90s, early 2000s, the Sundance spark was all they needed to get enough attention so that people could understand the genius behind some of these films. And if this film came out, just from the trailer alone, I think nowadays, I think you make a good point. Nowadays, we've seen this before, so the capability of this film being able to be a real benefit to its creators, to the actors in it by becoming, you know, quote unquote famous, has less potential. But it definitely is more in the mold of films that we know from past experience have the capability of getting that Sundance spark, getting that attention, so that it would be, you know, have you seen blah blah blah? Fuck yes, I have. It's a great movie. And the reason as to why I saw it was because Sundance put a big magnifying glass on it, and rightfully so. Right. So I see you guys.
Would you go see this one?
I would.
Okay.
Yeah. Mostly because, like, you know, it's it's something that I can relate to really easily. And I think that's a major push when it comes to this kind of genre of film. Who cannot relate to the human condition of maturing and dealing with the different kind of situations that you're going to deal with as you get older?
But let me interject something real quick.
Sure.
And this is, again, my problem with Sundance. If you had a choice between the National Lampoon movie and this film, which one would you go see?
National Lampoon.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's my problem.
I feel you.
That's my problem because
versus Beirut versus
or
the
whichever
other
one.
one.
Yeah, whichever one. The first three that we watched, all three of them, we are more likely to go see all three of them.
Yeah.
Before we see that film.
And let's throw Netflix and Amazon out the window. If again, we made a really good point because of technology and the way that our culture is when it comes to cinema. I could watch National Lampoons right now.
Right.
Let's throw that out the window. I'd still watch this before I went to see Love.
You didn't even know the name.
But
I
would also agree with Bert though. If I had the tickets to the festival, this is one that I would probably see.
Excellent point.
So that I knew that I could probably see National Lampoon's.
So this is
correct.
The other one,
correct.
Good.
Later
Okay.
on, because it would be more accessible.
Correct.
So I absolutely agree with Bert. In that
Okay.
respect.
Okay. That's excellent input. Guys. Thank you so very much. It's awesome.
Netflix.
Let's move on to the Netflix is a heavy hitter when it comes to Sundance this year. Apparently,
Netflix is a heavy hitter. Period.
Good call. Let's go ahead and jump into the trailer for Seeing All Red. You good?
Yeah.
Okay. Gloria Allred overcame trauma and personal setbacks to become one of the nation's most famous women's rights attorneys. Now the feminist firebrand takes on two of the biggest adversaries of her career, Bill Cosby, holy shit, and Donald Trump, holy shit, as sexual violence allegations grip the nation and keep her in the spotlight. This is already interesting to me.
So based on that, I don't want to see it.
Okay, let's double check the trailer and see if you still feel the same way.
Exactly.
After we watch this.
I'm so proud of all of the women who have had the courage to speak out. Rich, famous, powerful men have to understand there are rules, there are boundaries. They must respect those boundaries. This has got to end, and it needs to end right now.
There is a war on women. Women depend on me to be strong and to assert and protect their rights.
Joining us now, civil rights attorney. Please welcome Gloria Allred.
She talked about sexual harassment, race, women's rights, when nobody wanted to talk about it.
He thinks no more women will come forward. He is very wrong. Power only understands power. Fighting injustice is a commitment that I made many years ago.
She understands what we are experiencing based on what she had experienced herself.
What happened to me was absolutely shocking. To this day, I can't even think about it.
Is this getting too personal?
My commitment to women comes from my own life experience.
I have this venom toward Gloria Allred. Wherever you see Allred, you know somebody's lying.
That's assault. That is assault.
I think Gloria enjoys conflict. This makes her a great champion for us.
People say she's loud, she's got an ego, she must just love the camera.
She's trying to turn women into men.
I think secretly you envy women and you fear them.
I just say, haven't you met any men like that?
You should use these resources to arrest these fathers who are not paying their child support.
If it wouldn't have been for Gloria, Nicole would have always been just that person on the gurney.
We deserve to know if Mr. Cosby is a sexual predator.
This is not state law as we see it.
Hopefully next year you can issue the marriage license. To try to help people evolve from being a victim
'Cause I'm on fire,
to becoming a survivor. To becoming a fighter for change.
Women are now empowered, and they will never be silent again.
This is where the revolution begins.
All right. So, pretty, I don't know. It kind of falls in the same kind of formulaic thing you think when it comes to documentaries that are trying to be action films, for lack of a better term. I think that, honestly, it looks interesting to me, but let's go through the regular rigmarole here that we've already established in the episode. Andres, you first. Why is this Sundance contention, and why would you go see this based on the trailer alone? And you already said your feelings about it based upon the synopsis, but
no,
I want to
because
see
I already get it.
You already get it?
I already get it. I mean, it says exactly what it is. I get it. It's a current event.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all footage that if I was interested in hearing that footage,
you would have seen it
I
already.
would have seen it already.
Don't you think it might be
if I was a
interesting
champion of it, I would be championing it already.
Don't you think it would be interesting, though, to see it all in like a point of narrative action? I mean, like the trailers got me a little bit pumped. I'll be honest.
No, for me, for the sense of I myself personally do not follow current events or news. I hear about it.
Okay.
It's not a passion of mine.
Okay.
It depresses me and it pisses me off because I have no control over it whatsoever.
Okay, you're being completely real.
Right. So if I'm being honest, no, it's not up my alley.
I
It would
appreciate
be
your
up
honesty.
my alley if it was from beginning.
If you were a woman, maybe?
Maybe. I don't know. But,
that's a good point. You
But
don't know.
even still, if it was the Bill Cosby version of it, I might be more interested just because I watched the Cosby Show when I grew up. I didn't watch her advocate for women's rights my entire life. So I don't know who she is.
Right.
Am I more intrigued now than I was before? Yes. But to be honest, I probably wouldn't go see it right away.
that.
If it was on and a friend of mine was watching it and passionate about it, yes, I would watch it with them and support them.
You don't think this is there's a capability? You don't think there's an opportunity for you to educate yourself about women's rights?
It
in
is
a sense?
it is absolutely an opportunity.
And based on that alone, you wouldn't think it would be appropriate?
No, because I already respect women.
There it is.
So I am
That's
not.
awesome.
I'm not one of those d bags
for real,
assaulting women or abusing women.
I'm putting
so
it on.
guess what?
Yeah,
I respect women already. It's okay for me not to go see it.
Powerful statements from a powerful,
I do
powerful
respect
man.
women.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lovely,
I know
lovely
you absolutely do.
individuals.
You absolutely do. I'm putting it out there right
Former
now.
Oscar
That's me true.
winner, Robert A.
Former
I know,
Oscar,
right? I know.
Let's jump into that a little bit once we're done speaking with Bert. Robert, thank you so very much for being honest about that. I love it that you're so blunt when it comes to just the.
That doesn't mean I feel one way or the other than my own opinion.
Exactly.
Boom.
Bert, let's jump on to
I
this.
feel strong about my opinion.
I know. Well,
Exactly.
all you have are your opinions. Why is this Sundance?
That's because I'm awesome.
That's true. Why is this in Sundance, and would you go see it based on the trailer alone?
Okay, so yes, I do believe it belongs to Sundance.
Why?
Because it is a topic that is on fire.
Yeah, for sure.
The fact that we have
now
technology
more than ever.
Right. The fact that we have the technology, most of this stuff, in particular, the heavy hitters that they're going after currently, just happened.
That's true. It's true.
This year,
so that shows the technology, how fast we can get
I'll
something
be honest,
done.
that is fucking exciting to me. That I
Right,
can
I
watch
agree.
movies that are based upon real world events as if it was like
Like
some sort
now.
of newscast.
Yeah, like now.
It's ridiculous.
And so now, that being said, I go back to what I said. It does destroy the anticipation of film.
Yeah, sure.
But whatever. I mean, this is a doc. And so I do believe that Sundance is built for this kind of
That
stuff.
means documentary for those who aren't in the industry. Doc means
If you don't
okay.
know, if you can't catch that, man. Anyway, so I do think that it is relevant. I do think that it belongs to Sundance.
Which are strengths.
Yeah. I believe that people would watch it on Netflix when it comes out.
I'll watch it
Yeah,
for sure.
I think that it is what it's supposed to do. I'm not a big news guy, but I do keep up with current events enough to where you do form an opinion. One of the problems that I have with it, it does seem a little slanted.
Yeah, well, they have a mission.
Which is okay.
It's a mission
okay.
statement.
Yeah, I get it. I get that. And that's okay. There's no problem with that. So I particularly probably wouldn't be a big fan of it.
Yeah.
I tend to be more like my favorite docs are by the BBC.
Okay.
Because they're more neutral.
I feel you.
You know, as far as with this, it seems like I'm going to walk away going like, I love this woman. She's awesome. She's for women's rights.
Right.
Because it is slanted to be that way.
Okay. Andres?
So I had a thought while you were speaking. I would be way more interested.
And that thought was,
in...
please stop speaking.
No. It was. I appreciate the humor though.
Dick,
I would be way more interested in watching this if it told
was bald.
her story.
What is, I think it's about
It's talking the whole title,
you.
Seeing Allred, and I don't know what her story is.
I think
If
it's
I
gonna
knew
be
what
there.
her story is, it would be more relevant. But what I saw was all the current event crap that I've already heard about.
Yeah, but you're watching Rambo.
No, and I understand
Sure.
that.
You know,
so I will change my opinion if it tells me her story, her backstory, why she's so passionate about what she's passionate about. then I'm interested.
And I disagree with you in 2 points. Well, number one, I do think that it does say that whole clip of like, this is getting too personal.
I don't know that it does, though.
Well, it did for me. I don't know about you, but just that one line.
Sure.
It's getting too personal.
I'm gonna watch this documentary.
But that's number one. Number two, I go back
to
to the Rambo statement as far as like.
Yeah, what do you mean by that?
Like, you're showing the big action scenes in the trailer.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
You're not going to know John Rambo until you actually go see
the fucking movie. Yeah.
So why would you?
That
why
too.
would?
Yeah,
well, she was born in 1942. I mean, that doesn't matter. I mean, like.
But my initial impression of it wasn't that until you started talking about it.
Yeah,
so if they have you narrating it for me, I'm in.
Yeah.
Because then it's just like, oh, I will find out about this woman. I'm here.
I'm all pro Bill.
You're welcome, Bert. That was a shout out for you.
Lovely.
But the reality of it is that it is a Sundance film. I mean, it is. And I think that whether you see it on Netflix or not, because, I mean, there'll be some people that will go see it because, again, they're pretentious. I read a newspaper today.
Yeah.
So they'll go see that film.
I'm educated. I picked up the Tribune this afternoon.
And so, oh my God, I know who all read it.
For real.
But most of us that are jerk-offs in their 30s and 40s are like, man, I would just want to see Star Wars. I mean, like, so...
I think that's a valid statement.
So,
it's a gross generalization.
It's a fact.
But it's not a fact, but I think it's a definitely...
Would you watch Star Wars over this?
Yes. I'm answering for me.
Yeah, there you go.
Not for you,
so
but
let's
me,
talk about that a little bit, because like that kind of says something about... Let's be real in regards to this. We're all three of us...
Let's be real.
Yeah, right. All of us are cis-normative males who have no idea what it means. And I know this is going to sound a little ridiculous, but I want to be serious about it. I have no idea what it means to be a woman.
Really?
No.
You whine like one?
Oh, fuck you. Wait a minute. That's not a negative thing. I'll be proud to whine like a woman because...
you stand like a woman?
Hey, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, bro. It doesn't matter what sex you are, as long as you stand strong. It's all good.
Fight the power.
Hey, whatever power there is, they have to fight. That's going to be, egregious.
All right, wait, get to your point. Come
on. Fine. But we don't know what it's like to struggle in the way this woman does. Do you think...
Oh, I don't think she struggles.
Okay.
She's a high-powered lawyer, man.
That's a good point.
She did. She did.
No,
I
mean, maybe, yeah, okay.
It's
she has
based on
tragedy.
her story.
Yeah, sure.
I will give her that, but I don't know.
But that kind of begs a question. Do we have a right to even criticize this trailer because we're not ladies?
Oh, come on. A movie's a movie.
The trailer is the trailer.
Did you see? Yeah, exactly. You saw Terms of Endearment, didn't you?
I did.
Okay, so you wept at the end because the cancer lady died.
Absolutely.
And blah blah blah.
Absolutely.
Spoiler alert.
Wow. That's not built for us, man. Aliens is built for us.
Yeah.
But yet we watch Terms of Endearment and still cry.
Well, it's not built. Let's be real about that, because it's, again, I'm saying that so much now it's getting boring. But it's built for us not because we're men. It's built for us because we're science fiction junkies who were raised in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, but now because of the accessibility of what you were talking about, technology, and the fact that we can get anything at any given time.
Yeah.
We know who this woman is.
You're right.
As far as like if you watched CNN. You know, like
okay.
So it's one of those.
So she's
things.
A champion for some people and not others.
No, I don't know about that.
Okay.
I'll put it this way.
All right.
If this was Sandra Bullock playing her, I would be interested. No, I am dead serious. This is a legitimate answer. I would absolutely go watch Sandra Bullock play
this woman. And
if
she was champion a big black guy.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
It's terrible. I know, but that's the honest truth for me.
We got to get a lady on this panel sooner or later, guys. This is just I feel you.
I love Sandra Bullock too.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Again,
awesome,
being blatantly honest. All right, I love you guys. So let's double check then and move on to the next one. This one I'm kind of like interested in because I saw pieces of it while you guys were, falling into my kitchen and I was setting up microphones. The next one is for summer of '84. Francis, let's just read the synopsis. Summer 1984, a perfect time to be a carefree 15-year-old.
Stranger Things.
Right.
You called it. I'm sure you did. But anyway, but when neighborhood conspiracy theorist Davey Armstrong, thank you, begins to suspect...
Have you need glasses?
Yeah, I do, dude. Begins to suspect his police officer neighbor might be the serial killer all over the local news, he and his 3 best friends begin an investigation that soon turns dangerous.
Dangerous. The Hardy Boys. Nancy Drew.
I want you guys to take a moment and think of all of the titles that this thing has stolen from, and we'll talk about it in the next minute and a half. Here we go.
If I've learned anything, it's that people hardly ever let you know who they really are. Inside any house, anything could be happening and you'd never know.
You think a bunch of glorified Care Bears in hoods could take down the Empire?
They are aliens, and they're highly intelligent.
Scientifically the perfect woman.
You know, this kind of movie makes you hate your life.
There's a serial killer on the loose.
Like, how the fuck do they
What else
make
could
this movie?
possibly be this exciting? Mackie is the Cape May Slayer.
Dude, Mackie's a cop with a sick reputation.
That's why it's so genius.
There's an alien in the closet.
Stop. Oh, another Mad Men alum.
The suburbs are where the craziest shit happens.
That was a great line. Oh, that was a great line. The suburbs are where all the crazy shit happens.
Unbelievable. Okay, so guys,
Wow.
let's go on the regular rotation. Andres, why did this film make it to Sundance, and would you go see it based upon the trailer?
Why did it make it to Sundance?
This is
Weak
what
pool.
I was going to say. I don't know why this one made it in.
Okay. No idea. That's it?
No idea.
Okay. Would you go see it?
Would I go see it based on the fan of being a fan of the 80s?
Yeah.
Maybe. Am I a fan of the horror movie, suspense movie genres?
Right.
Yeah.
So it's
maybe.
it's a nostalgia boner.
Do you know what though? It had a good line in the trailer.
Yeah, I feel you.
That's about it.
Okay.
But what Bert said during the trailer, I'm like, totally, man. Totally. F the movies. F the movies.
Oh, man.
To show what all of us wanted to happen in our adolescence.
Yeah. Bert, why did this make it into Sundance, and would you go see it based on the trailer?
Obviously,
Shit.
the pool was weak or very shallow. Number one.
Yeah, no,
Number two.
My answer is no, and I don't know why it's there.
Back in the 80s, when they had all those romantic comedies.
Yeah,
right.
So now we have a trend that we have to have some adolescent, like, being scared of some shit.
Yeah.
And so, like, let's copy that and bring it into the whole.
I call it the Goonies effect.
Yeah, the Goonies.
Well, and I thought
great.
of Goonies as well.
Great. But the Goonies, when the Goonies were cool, and now it's just copied. And copied. And
It's not
copied.
real, man.
And that pisses me off.
I feel you.
It's no different than sequels or anything like, really? Or remakes are the best one.
We talked about this during the trilogy project. We were like, hey, how much of it is off of the original work, and how much of it is just like, coasting on the coattails of that, and losing all of the story, all of the hard work, and just relying completely on production value.
Well, I mean, it's like let's make Footloose, but call it Foot Quick or something. It's just a throwback to throwback.
Right.
I mean, it's ridiculous, and I hate the fact that movie made it into Sundance.
Yeah.
This should go straight to video if there still was video.
I completely agree with both of you. Uh-oh.
Agreed.
Okay, very good. Let's move on.
I don't
Let's move
know what
on.
else to... would you?
No, I wouldn't see it, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
That Annihilation looks cool.
What?
Well, Natalie Portman.
No, I mean, that's a gigantic movie.
Oh, is
trailer.
it?
Yeah.
Different subject for a different show, boss.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the next
Big budget.
the next foreign entry, and the second to last one we're going to look at tonight. This is A Woman Captured. Let's take a look at this trailer and see what we can see.
God, that's
So this is official. Yeah, it is official selection.
Hol a másik ilyen nájkinak rájól? Nincs benne.
Akkor keresd meg. Hozd a szobába, csak csipked magad, mert elkésel. Reggel is elédesítitek az egész kávét,
Én
nem
nem
lehet
édesítem
inni.
el.
Nem magyarázd, mert megcukrozod az egészet egyszerre sokszor. Szobámba a villanyt toltsd le gyorsan, ágyamat csináld meg. Gyereknek kaját csináljál, mert nem soká jön haza.
Itt vagyok én, mikor idejöttem. Hol vagy? 42 éves voltam, sőt 53. Hát te itt öregettél meg. Valahogy egy nem kapok pénzt. Hogy közleked? Lógok. Ő a legkisebb, 16 éves. Ő miatt én szeretnék minél hamarabb innen elmenni. Jó napot kívánok, Tamás, Vivika anyukája vagyok.
És mit csináltál ma?
Nem voltam, itthon voltam. Beszélsz az anyával, hozzá se szóltam. Csak ha te kérdeztél, akkor Válaszoltam.
Nem mondtam ezt. Hazudjál, fejezd be most. Ha mondtam, akkor most felhívod. Nyugodtan hagyd ünnepelhez.
Sok mindenbe tudnak engem sakba tartani, tehát most is a kezem színbe van. Erős vagyok, én Bebi. Csak valaki legyen mellettem, aki segít.
Damn.
Holy shit, I'm in.
Damn, yeah.
All right, so let's move it back. Let's do it reverse this time. Bert, why did this make it to Sundance? And would you go see it based on the trailer?
Yeah, on both ends. I mean, like, it's raw. It's cool looking.
I don't know if it's honestly.
I can't tell if it's a
not.
documentary. Yeah, I can't. I mean, it says documentary on the thing, but I was gonna say, is this like a narrative? Is this like, what was that? Witch Hunter? What was that?
Blair Witch.
Blair Witch, right? Which is a big Sundance darling, you know.
Yeah.
But this is totally that feel, whether it's real or not. But man, see, that's film.
Yeah.
That's filmmaking where you go, okay, let's do something different.
How did they fit the camera in her fucking bedroom?
Well, but I mean,
without being seen.
It's a whole bunch of things. Well, I think it was probably like a GoPro or something like that.
Sure,
Something,
okay.
You know, but even outside of that, however they filmed it, however they did it, these are the films you get excited about. You know, you go like, will this make it?
This is why
and
you
why
still
doesn't
have,
it?
This is why you still have faith in Sundance.
That's right. When you go like, man, this is cool. Like, because the whole time you're looking at it, you don't know what you're looking at.
No.
And then it is like a small film that's very like cool, you know, and those are the kind of films that you want to be a fan of, in particular in a film festival. So yeah, I'm on board for both ends. I think that this is a good pick.
Wicked.
As opposed to the
first
garbage
three, maybe.
Well, not even the garbage we just saw.
Okay.
The stupid kid thing. I mean, where you go like, why would they? Why? I mean, like, why would they greenlight this? Whereas opposed to this one, you go, yeah, this is cool. I mean,
this is a
neat
story
film.
that needs to be told.
Exactly.
Okay,
whether it's real or not.
Wicked.
Scroll up so I could read the synopsis.
Oh, of course. Let me read that really quick for everybody.
Thanks.
A woman captured. A European woman has been kept by a family as a domestic slave for 10 years, one of over 45 million victims of modern-day slavery. Drawing courage from the filmmaker's presence, she decides to escape the unbearable oppression and become a free person. Holy shit, now I'm definitely going to see it. I should have read that before we even started the trailer. Andrew, same questions. Why did this make sense in Sundance? And would you go see it based upon the material that we just saw?
All right. So I think it's obvious why it made it into Sundance.
Totally.
I mean, whether or not I would see it if I had read the synopsis preceding the
Sorry
trailer.
about that, folks.
Well, no. I'm actually glad we did it that way. I found myself so confused as to why, what was going on. Is it real or is it not?
Yeah.
So I was just as lost as you were in that respect. And because I was lost in it, I started thinking, if it's real, how is all of this happening? How did they do that? And that made me think maybe it was staged.
Mm-hmm.
And even if it was, even if they're going back in time a little bit, she's already escaped. She's already got her freedom.
So maybe that explains it.
And now they're dramatizing it a little bit
Right.
by whatever shots they have. I certainly am way more invested in something like that and would want to go see it.
Right.
I don't know what state of mind I would have to be in order to push myself to go see it.
I feel you. It does look like a
the
depressing
theater
piece of cinema
or
for
whatnot.
sure.
You know what I mean?
But if you, not to interrupt.
Yeah. Go ahead.
But if you played this trailer with the first three,
okay,
I would watch this one before the first three.
I gotcha.
Because again, I would be excited by the nature of it, that it's a Sundance pick and it's a foreign film and it's something that I may not be. It's a little treasure that you may not see ever again.
Right.
You don't know how big it's going to be, and it might be a terrible film.
It gives the creators a voice.
That's right. It might blow.
Yeah.
But that trailer whipped ass.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's good enough. You
right.
know, and so you go, okay, yeah, this is why I'm buying this ticket, is to see this film.
I wish the trailer did not start with her on the train.
Okay.
I wish the trailer started with her inside. She's a captive woman.
Captive, yeah.
Right? So it already gave me a sense of freedom, which led to my confusion
I don't know,
in
man.
there.
You saw her face, man?
No, I understand that, but I'm a visual person.
That's right.
I already saw
That's
somebody
what I'm
free,
saying.
so I'm like, what's going on
You're
here?
a
And I'm
detective.
That's a
That's for
downtrodden woman, man. You could tell that.
But
she's
what I
been
will
hit
say
the-
with you
on the
too
face.
is like watching the Summer of '84 to that
Yeah.
makes the Summer of '84
fair.
look even worse.
Right, fair.
For sure.
And that's
It's
fair. 'Cause
just-
that's
it's-
a good point. The way that we watched them. That's
Yeah.
a
No,
great
it's just like
What the
I'm
fuck
sorry,
is going
Summer
on?
of '84. I really am. I don't want to.
Yeah, let's make sure everybody understands. We're basing this completely off of trailers. That Beirut might be Summer of '84.
Right.
They may be awesome
Right,
movies. We don't know,
right.
but
Really, you think that?
I don't know.
I don't think that at all.
Yeah,
But
I don't know.
okay, so for the last one, guys, apparently they have
I
made.
will be your neighbor.
Amazing that you would say that, Andres.
I think I've seen this trailer.
Okay,
too.
wicked. Amazingly enough, they have made a documentary about. Holy shoot!
Really,
Mr.
Mr.
Rogers.
Rogers.
Mr. Rogers, Fred.
It's a beautiful
I'm
day
done.
in the
I'm done.
neighborhood.
And there's actually a
You actually wearing
Sundance film.
slippers.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
it's a-
I mean, come
I'm
on.
wearing slippers right now too.
That's what I'm
actually.
saying.
It's good stuff. Anyway, let's go through it.
You got a green sweater on.
Won't you be? Won't you be my neighbor? Fred Rogers used puppets and play to explore complex social issues, race, disability, equality, and tragedy, helping form the American concept of childhood. He spoke directly to children, and they responded enthusiastically. Yet today, his impact is unclear. Have we lived up to Fred's ideal of good neighbors? This is actually not an official trailer. This is a clip from the film, but I thought this would be really fun to watch because it just seems like a...
Well, sometimes I'd rather see a clip than a trailer.
I feel you. So let's double check this and see what we have to see. Here we go.
Sometimes I'd rather be naked.
Once said to me, if you take all of the elements that make good television and do the exact opposite, you have Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Low production values, simple set, unlikely star. Yet, it worked. Because he was saying something really important.
That is
great.
beautiful.
That's great.
That is fun to watch.
Yeah.
Love is at the root of everything.
Love is at the root of
All
everything.
learning, all parenting, all relationships. Love or the lack of it. And what we see and hear on the screen is part of who we become.
Okay, yeah, nice little clip there. So, guys, not an official trailer, but it is Mr. Rogers. Based upon that little bit that we know it's going to be in the film, why did this make it into Sundance? And would you go see it? Andres, what are your feelings about that?
I am so depressed watching that clip.
Really?
There's a sense of nostalgia, but it's like really depressing.
It makes me happy.
Yeah, it
right
makes
now.
me happy too.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why do you feel sad about it, do you think?
I don't know.
Okay.
And maybe that's just
Maybe you have
where
to
my
watch.
head is at-
Maybe you have to
is at
watch
right
the
now.
film to find the answer.
But okay, so yes, I would watch it. Yes, based on
This
yes,
little snippet.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's obvious why it's in Sundance.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense. I mean, I grew up watching it.
We all did, I think.
I mean, I
I
just
did.
saw his face big on the big screen,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, oh.
Well, we all reacted
I
to the
miss my
part where,
friend.
where they pulled out the trolley,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's the sense that I miss my friend.
I feel you.
That makes a lot of sense to me, and that's kind of where my head's at.
Okay.
So
Wicked. Bert, same questions, man. Why did this make it into Sundance? And would you go see it based upon this little snippet that we just saw?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, on both. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it belongs to Sundance because, again, if first of all, it's an interesting documentary.
Yeah.
And especially as we get old, Fred Rogers means something to a lot of people.
Yeah,
And
nostalgia
so-
is a huge,
yeah, it's a huge
factor
thing.
in
So-
cinema nowadays.
Yeah, so you go, yeah, I'd go see this. And I do believe that it has relevance on what we're missing,
Mhm.
both in our childhood and also as the future goes forward.
Okay. Well, could you expand on that? What do you mean?
Well, sure. Like, first of all, like, do we see kids shows like this anymore?
not like this.
Not like it, no.
Not
like this.
like this.
And really,
No.
when you think about it,
It's
all
also
of us,
it's also commercialized.
yeah, all of us were affected by this man.
Yeah.
And whether, because part of the question is that is he needed more or less today? And
Good
just
question.
on that clip, you go, I mean, all of us instantly were like nostalgic, sad.
Yeah.
You go through a range of emotions, and that's what film should evoke.
Emotion.
And that's why
Yeah, like
it
real
belongs
emotion.
to Sundance.
Something that goes beyond to say, oh, hey, that's cool, but something that really
Really
motivates
moves you,
you
yeah.
or
There-
is
there was-
riveting to you.
The minute we saw the trolley,
Yeah.
Because I expected a puppet to come out.
Me too. I thought his shoes would pop out of the box.
Or I thought it was going to be the king.
I thought it was the girl.
Meow, meow.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes, meow, meow.
Yeah.
And again, you go, how impactful was this man?
Yeah.
And fundamentally, in particular, if you didn't have a father figure,
right.
how important is Fred Rogers?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I do.
Just on a side note. So, like, a few weeks ago, there was a show in Louisiana that was a lot like this by a guy named Buckskin Bill.
Okay.
And he passed a couple weeks ago.
And for those who don't know, our friend Bert is a Louisiana native. That's where you were born and bred, that kind of thing. Right. Sorry, go ahead, brother.
Well, he passed, and he always had this morning march.
Okay.
And you know, you march with a baton, and you would copy it and all that stuff. And he was local.
Yeah. He was
the Fred Rogers of the local TV.
Gotcha.
And man, and I hadn't seen that face in decades.
For real.
But the moment I heard the march, the moment I saw his face, I was instantly carried to my childhood. But more importantly, I was moved in the sense of like, oh, we just lost a treasure from Louisiana.
Yeah.
Now think of Fred Rogers.
Yeah.
And so just that alone, it makes you want to go see this film. That being said, a great forum for it is Film Festival.
For sure.
I mean, because it could get lost on HBO. Because if you teaming it up against Wonder Woman,
right?
Who are you going to see?
Yeah.
It'd get lost in Netflix. I mean, more likely to be seen in Amazon and Netflix than HBO.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But it could get lost. But at a film festival, in particular, let's say a Sundance, and especially if it was indie film, hardcore, it could get promoted. It could get pushed. It kind of like the Reagan film that came out a few years ago.
Yeah.
Like where you go.
Okay. Oh, I didn't know that was the case. Oh, wow, that's interesting.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's exactly right.
Well,
I think it's a great.
Awesome.
choice.
Well, guys, I think that's pretty much where we're going to end the show. I think it's really awesome that we can be open enough to talk about some things we don't like about Sundance, but also kind of be inspired, especially when it comes to the indie feel from a woman captured and the interest when it comes to mixing nostalgia when it comes to Won't You Be My Neighbor. It's good to see that Sundance is still in some ways pure to the original festival spirit. So take that for what you will, guys. We do appreciate the time that you took to listen to us, listen to our opinions about it. Sundance is still alive and well, and as filmmakers, I think regardless of your feelings about it, we're all made better for it. But, that begs the question, what do you think? Feel free to email us, pullfocuspod@gmail.com. Please like and subscribe on YouTube and follow us on SoundCloud. And we're just going to keep talking because regardless of what we say, Bert, what's the saying that we have when it comes to...
We may not know what we're talking about, but it's your job to tell us.
Damn straight. So thank you so very much, guys, again, for taking time to listen to us. Thank you very much to my brothers in crime. Bert, thank you so much for coming by and letting us know what you think. Andres, absolutely thank you for giving us your opinion.
Former Oscar winner.
Good evening.
2020.
And thank you, guys.
Good evening.
We're starting a campaign right now.
Good night.
Best supporting actor or actress.
Oh, my goodness.
Depending on what you think.
Oh, boy. We'll see you next time, guys. Thank you very much. Take care.